Okay, in today's edition of These People Get on My Nerves, I want to talk about the NCAA and their latest ruling coming out of the Oversight Committee. But before I do that, you see I'm sporting my Oklahoma gear, so I'm repping the Sooners right now. They are playing Michigan tomorrow, so we're going to understand what the $2.5 million QB, John Mateer, has versus the $3 million QB, Bryce Underwood at Michigan. So, last week versus Illinois State, Mateer had 392 yards passing, 3 passing TDs, 1 rushing TD, 81% completion rate, 0 turnovers. Bryce Underwood against New Mexico, 251 yards passing, 1 passing TD, 68% completion rate, and 0% turnovers. Oklahoma's ranked 18th, Michigan's ranked 15th, should be a good game. Hey, I hope all that $5.5 million worth of QBs you got in the field pays off for one of y'all. Anyway, I'm sick and tired, and these people get on my nerves. Shenanigans in Shady Town is definitely coming. Let me tell you what just happened. So yesterday, I saw some reporting that the NCAA, the Oversight Committee, voted for a single football transfer portal window. Now, they voted to accept that. Now, if you recall, back in January, and I discussed this on a podcast on January 15th of this year, the FBS coaches unanimously voted for this single portal. And these were the coaches coming out of the American Football Coaches Association conference earlier this year. Now, what did the Oversight Committee approve? One single 10-day window. So instead of the 2 windows that we have right now that equal 30 days, the 20-day window in December and the 10-day window after spring, okay, now one 10-day window. It will start January 26th, assuming that it gets voted on and approved, I think, at a meeting in early October. The 10-day window, January 2nd through January 12th. And so that January 2nd date is 1 day after the college football playoffs quarterfinals. The other piece of this is that all of December is supposed to be a recruiting dead period, which means that coaches can have contact with athletes, but there can be no on or off campus visits or evaluations. Okay? So that's probably what's going to get approved. And so you may be thinking, one portal window instead of 2. I guess that's good for the game. I don't know. Okay. I do know that this proposal is not athlete friendly. Before I get there, let me tell you what the rationale was for this rule. So the rationale is that this will allow the players to have more time to finish the season while preserving their transfer opportunity. Translation: coaches are tired of players opting out. Remember, a couple of playoff teams had their QBs opt out last year. At least one school, I think it was Marshall, couldn't even field a team at all because everybody hit the portal. So this is supposed to make sure that y'all, student athletes, y'all don't be hitting the portal while we're in the middle of bowl season. Now, from a system perspective, I guess that makes sense. Okay, so it's supposed to be protecting bowl season while preserving the transfer opportunity. Well, okay, we will see. I will tell you, though, that when this proposal came out in January, NCAA President Charlie Barker, or maybe it's Barkers, okay, he had a couple comments, and he had to remind the coaches, I guess, that the window had to fit within the academic calendar, which is one of my concerns with this window. It's not spring semester friendly, which is one of the reasons I don't consider it to be student athlete friendly. So for frame of reference, I'm repping Oklahoma, okay? Oklahoma starts spring semester on January 20th. I'm a Georgia State alum. Georgia State starts spring classes on January 12th. I'm also a Clemson alum. Clemson starts classes January 7th. The window runs the 2nd through the 12th. Okay. So it's not spring semester friendly. Okay. Now, the the American Football Coaches Association president, Craig Bowl, had to say back in January when the coaches came out of that convention with that unanimous proposal. He said, quote, "I'm convinced our coaches care deeply about the student athlete." My reaction to that is, you have to tell me if you have to tell me that you're convinced. You're not convinced. Let that do what you wanted to do. The other thing he said was that everybody is still going to college. Maybe 1% will play pro. It's important not to lose sight of that, which this proposal starts us on the track of losing sight of that. Okay. When you combine this proposal with the proposal that the Big Ten Conference commissioner floated about a 2018 college football playoff, you can see the continued erosion of the emphasis on the student as a part of the student athlete. Let me give you my takeaways. First, as I have said many times, the system was never designed for the student athlete. And every student athlete needs to understand the system is not designed to work in your favor. And you must navigate it understanding that it is not your friend. Okay? A 10-day window is not designed to benefit the student athlete. Okay? I want us to feel sure, number two, feel sure that the dead period may technically exist, but we know it's not going to exist in practice. Do we really think that no one is going to do things during that dead period? Do we really think that, regardless of what the rule says? Whatever. Number three, the coaches will still cherry pick. Now, mind you, the transfer portal is all about the university, the institution picking the athlete. And so that's why I have encouraged in previous posts to say, you need to be thoughtful about where you plan to go. So you are not just sitting there waiting for somebody to come and show you some love. Okay, so coaches will still cherry pick, but now the athletes are only going to have 10 days or less to respond, which includes getting those deals done. So the ability to breathe and maybe do some shopping, okay, will stop under the 10-day window unless there's some impermissible contact going on before that. But hey, I'm just telling you, deals will have to get done fast. That 10-day window is designed to pressure the athlete into making a move quickly on terms that are going to be difficult to negotiate in such a short window. Number four, closing the window closes nothing. Ending the transfer portal, stopping the portal on date X because it closes, it's no magic doors that actually close that keep people out. That sucker continues to operate. Okay, we've seen it time and time again, and we know there are exceptions. So there are two big exceptions to the window closing. The first is that the athletes that are in the playoff will continue to have a window to operate once they finish play. Okay, because keep in mind this January 2nd date is only the quarterfinals, so there's a lot more football to play. Okay, I think the national game and the title game is not until the 20th of January or something. So that's the first exception to this magic closing of the portal. The second exception is the head coach departures, which opens up another window. Now, will that be a 30-day window? Will that be a 10-day window? They haven't said, but they also have not said that is those exceptions to the transfer portal magically closing and activity ceasing to happen will not be in place. Okay, so we're still going to have some exceptions. There's still going to be plenty of activity after the portal closes. The only problem is that school will have started and athletes are going to be, I don't know, sitting on mama's couch for spring semester, waiting on spring ball to happen. Or are they, I don't know where they're going to be if they don't get registered in time for school. Okay. Now, I just want to close by saying this. If there is a system, it will be gained. Shady Town, shenanigans, people just getting on my nerves because this does not smell athlete friendly. It does not designed to protect the athlete, and games will be played. You can trust what I'm saying. Let me know what you think.